Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Drew here, and I really should start saying this more since it has been my catchphrase in the past. Who dat? Drew dat? Welcome back to the Drew Dat Games podcast. Joining me on the phone is my younger brother from his channel, Desert Nord. Hey bro.
Hey there.
On today's episode, being the 11th episode of the gaming podcast, we're going to be going over PlayStation State of Play from, I think it was the 25th of February.
Yep.
As well as the latest headlines like Xbox Live went down on the 25th. And I don't know why. Anthem next has been canceled. And we'll get into the ramifications of that. PlayStation Plus for March finally got announced after the State of Play, which I thought they were going to do there because they didn't do it the day before. Pokemon Legends was announced recently. We'll get into that. Sony shutting down one of their major studios. Twitch is doing stupid shit again. There's some news about E3 and Halo Infinite. So, with that being said, up first is the official review of us of State of Play. So, they opened up with Star Wars, or wait, sorry, that's the, wait, is that the State of Play, or is that, no, that was the other thing, I think. No, I guess this was the State of Play. Okay, so I guess they... I lost my place here. Hang on a sec. Okay. Okay. Wait, there's more news than I thought. I started writing news, then I wrote State of Play, then I got more news after that. Okay. So there's actually 3 pages of shit. Okay. So we're just going to start with the State of Play then. So they opened up with Crash Bandicoot 4 is coming to PS5 with an option to upgrade it from PS4 for free.
Yep.
Whoop-de-doo. Returnal got a release date of April 30th. Alright, whatever. Knockout City.
Some people will be excited, but I'm not. Who cares to me?
Well, considering you can't get a PS5 fucking anywhere, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Knockout City is coming May 21st. Then there's a game called Sifu, S-I-F-U, by the studio called Slow Clap, and it's coming to PS5 and PS4 sometime this year. Solar Ash is coming to PlayStation 5 and 4 this year at some point. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach coming to PS5 and PS4 this year. Oddworld Soulstorm for PS5 and PS4 coming April 6th, but the PS5 version will be free for Plus members when it launches on April 6th. So therefore, we get our first announcement of a PlayStation Plus title for April then, with that.
Yeah.
Kind of Bridge of Spirits by Embered Lab coming August 24th this year. So we got an official release date, and I wound up pre-ordering this thing digitally on the PS4. So I'm looking forward to that. They showed Deathloop again. Big deal. Probably just to remind us that it's still coming to PlayStation.
Yep.
And then we get to a controversial part of it. that being Final Fantasy, and apparently this was the big deal for the show. Final Fantasy VII Remake integrate. So basically like DLC for Final Fantasy VII, not the full next chapter, apparently. Coming June 6th to PS5. However, with that said, I might as well bring up the first news topic that I'll have then, is connected to this. And that's Final Fantasy VII Integrate. You must upgrade it to the PS5 version of Final Fantasy VII in order to play this DLC. This DLC is not available for PlayStation 4 version of Final Fantasy VII. Which is a complete and utter fucking ripoff, Sony. So you're gonna tie DLC to a version of the game that's not out, to my knowledge yet, to a system that no one can fucking get anywhere. Good job. You really know what you're doing. Just like Lucasfilm knows what they're doing. Just like Disney knows what they're doing. Spoiler, they don't. Yeah, so, with that said,
it's just more proof that when the console makers make missteps, it causes the whole development community to misstep right along with them.
Yeah. So with that said, state of play for February 25th, 2021, I gave it a D+. A couple steps down from the Nintendo Direct that we got the previous week. Because at least, like, their big thing from Nintendo, or nothing, was mired in controversy. So, with that said, the other news that I got, Star Wars, and some of the stuff I did videos for on the channel. If you guys haven't checked those out, please do after this. But Star Wars Republic Commando is getting a remaster, releasing April 6th, and it's by Asper Media, whom we talked about before for the Knights of the Old Republic stuff.
Yep.
And it's coming to PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch on April 6th for $14.99. Now, I haven't seen anything about a physical version of this, so this is obviously digital. But the lack of this remaster going to Xbox, do you want to know the reason for that I've been getting?
What is that?
Because it's already reverse compatible from the original Xbox.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
That's your reason for not doing a remaster?
Well, I can see why they tried to make that their reason.
It seems like they're reaching to for me because first of all, I've seen games be reverse compatible on Xbox, other games, and yet a current gen version of that game got released on Xbox anyway, despite the old version being reverse compatible. So this rings pretty fucking hollow from whoever's running fucking Star Wars gaming now. So, and considering that we know that Lucasfilm Games is a thing, another fuck up from Lucasfilm.
Well, for some of us, the whole series is completely dead to us. So.
Yeah, well, that's Disney's fault. Speaking of things that could lead to something good, EA has abandoned Anthem Next, so they're not going to be redoing Anthem, and the servers for the current version of Anthem will still be supported. Well, aren't you just patron fucking saints?
Yeah.
However, it's being thrown around the gaming community that since Anthem's failure was so hard and so epic, EA has apparently reportedly said to not be mandating live services for their games going forward.
Yep.
Specifically for Dragon Age 4. Which means Dragon Age 4 seems like it's going to be a single player game again with no multiplayer. Well, that actually would be a good thing. Thank goodness for that.
Yeah, it always seemed like the type of game that really should just stick to being a one player.
Yeah, well, indeed. Because the
Not
best.
every game is meant to be multiplayer.
And unfortunately with
Some
the
people need to be told that.
Yeah, and unfortunately with the Dragon Age series, there's only been one like really good game in the series. And that being the very first one, Dragon Age Origins.
Yep.
Because after that, EA got there. Well, actually, even around the time that BioWare made Dragon Age Origins, that game was published by EA even. So the fact that we even got that was surprising now that I look at it.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Anything to add before we get to the next one?
No, nothing to add on that.
Oh, I forgot I wrote that into the script, and that's not gaming. Well, we'll talk about it anyway. But up next is Bethesda is getting sued over Creation Club and Season Pass monetization over Fallout 4.
Yeah.
This could affect the Microsoft purchase, and when that becomes official, then...
Yeah, you'd think they would have to settle any kind of lawsuit like that.
Yeah, because if you cast your mind back to when Creation Club was introduced to Skyrim and Fallout 4, specifically Fallout 4 in this case, it was Pete Hines that said that these things are like DLC, but they're not DLC because that was going to be their way of excluding it from the Season Pass, which includes all of the DLC for the game.
Yeah.
And then he also said, but they're also not paid mods. And then that's when I went, so they're not paid mods, they're not DLC. There's only one thing left, guys. Microtransactions.
Yep.
But yeah, now they're getting hit with a class action lawsuit over them screwing customers out of the content, claiming that they weren't DLC, but they weren't paid mods. So they're either microtransactions or they're DLC. You gotta pick one.
Uh-huh.
And they refused to actually say what it was, and now they're getting fucking sued, and rightly so. Anything to add?
Yeah. No, it just seems completely natural. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. So I think I'll save this next one for a little bit here. Let's see. Yeah, so Xbox Live went down on the 25th, that being the day of Sony's State of Play. And I discovered this right after the State of Play was over. I booted up my Xbox and couldn't do a damn thing on it. And then that's when I discovered that it was down basically for everybody. So then that's when I made the video on YouTube talking about it.
Yeah.
And even now, I still haven't found out or gotten an explanation of what the fuck happened. Even now,
Yeah,
so...
it was weird.
Yeah, because at the time, you couldn't sign in a profile, you couldn't stay signed in. Because you couldn't sign in, you couldn't play a game or anything. Or you couldn't use any app. Basically, it turned into a paperweight for the entire day. Like I think some people were reporting that it happened at like noon or something.
Yeah, it was a while.
Yeah, and then it finally like was usable as a platform about 6 or 7 in the evening, I think, give or
Sure.
take. Because I was sitting there with the Xbox on the whole time, but fortunately, since I have a PS4, I was able to use everything over on that instead.
Yep.
Well, one of the benefits of having multiple platforms. So anything,
Definitely.
yeah. So anything to add about Xbox Live going down on the 25th when it did?
Yeah, I don't really have anything much else to say about it except that it must have been caused by something because that's very rare.
Mm-hmm. To
I mean,
to
it can't just be an accident. I mean, that system is pretty stable.
yeah, it's more stable than PlayStation. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But but the fact that and of all days for it to happen during Sony's State of Play seems now I'm not saying that there was foul play there, but it was on the same day as State of Play, so you can take away from that whatever you want. I'm not
Yeah, you just
saying,
have to adjust your tinfoil hats on that one.
yeah. I'm just pointing out that that was the same day. That's all I'm saying, folks.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that are questionable, this isn't as questionable as Games with Gold, but I still don't know how I feel about it. That being the PlayStation Plus titles for March, starting on the 2nd, which was today. Yep.
Yep.
So for PS4, we got Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I talked about a little bit earlier. We got uh, Mar. What the hell is this? How the hell to pronounce this? I don't know, but it's for PS5, so I don't give a shit. I think it's I th- I th- I think it's Marquette or something along those lines.
Okay.
I don't give a shit because it's on PS5 anyway, and it's not for PS4 users. So who cares?
Uh-huh.
For PS4, there's Remnant from Ashes, and for PlayStation VR users, there's Farpoint.
Yep.
I'm gonna be testing Farpoint because I'm able to download it to my PS4, and I don't have PlayStation VR. So I wonder if this thing is playable without the VR headset. So I'll get back to you guys on that for next week's podcast. And then also April 1st, we know Oddworld Soulstorm is going to be available for PS5 users only. If you want the PS4 version, you're going to have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Good job, Sony. Way to be assholes again.
Uh-huh.
Now, this is really interesting because this came to my attention like the day after the event because there was a Pokemon Direct thing.
Uh-huh.
Apparently the day after State of Play, and their big announcement was Pokemon Legends. How do I pronounce this Pokemon again?
Well, there's two ways that people pronounce it. One of them is Arceus. The other is Arceus. I prefer Arceus.
Then it's Pokemon Legends Arceus. Coming early
Yeah.
2022, and I did a video on the channel discussing this. And in my comments with Desert Nord, I was talking about how from the trailer of this thing, because this thing is supposed to be an open world Pokemon game in the style of the Let's Go Pokemon games for the Switch / Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And as I said to Desert
Yeah, it
Nord,
really does resemble Breath of the Wild quite a bit.
yeah, and this thing has me interested in Pokemon to the level that I haven't been interested in anything Pokemon since I was like in 8th grade.
Yeah.
And that was back when I was still playing Pokemon cards with Desert Nord and other friends. So.
Yeah, what I'll say is, I feel like this is a really good direction to turn for them to turn the series, at least the video game end of it, because this is the type of thing fans want.
Yeah, and
They want niche stories. They want, complete dexes. And if you're not going to give us complete dexes, give us regional situations. Give us historical situations. Deepen the lore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this
and
is...
then the beauty of the Legend series is that they can keep going with it.
Yeah.
They've got dozens of ones they could make a version of. They could keep going. They could make Rayquaza, and they could make well, the other ones are people were talking about. They were talking about Genesect, and they were talking about Palkia and Dialga and Darkrai, and they were talking about a lot of different ones they could make a Legend series game of.
I don't know any of those names, but I'm going to go along with you because I've been out of the loop with Pokemon since Gen 2.
Yeah, that's understandable, and that's totally fine. Most people have, actually.
Yeah,
but there's 800 and,
But
800 and, I'll just call it 870 creatures to pick from.
But this is how you get old...
100 of them are in the Legend category.
Yeah, but this right here is how you get old Pokemon fans back.
Yeah, I can agree with that, yeah.
Lucasfilm, Disney, Sony, eat your hearts out, but then again, you don't have hearts to eat out because you chewed those up a long time ago. Nintendo is the place to be at this point.
Snap 2, it's getting pretty good in the Pokemon department.
Yeah, I already have the new Pokemon Snap pre-ordered for the Switch, so.
Yeah.
So,
the world's #1 selling media brand is keeping going. Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah. Speaking of Sony is evidently shutting down their Japan studio. Their longtime studio called Japan Studios. And basically reducing them to a skeleton crew. Further evidence that they don't give a fuck about their old country that their headquarters used to be in, or the fan base there. So basically, Japan is now free reign for Nintendo, and they certainly are reigning supreme in Japan now.
Yeah.
Anything to add to that?
Yeah, and I'll just add that as far as Pokemon goes, a lot of this is having to do with the anniversaries that keep coming up.
Yeah.
We had the 20th anniversary of Pokemon in 2016.
Yeah.
And then the 25th just happened, the 25th anniversary. So these are milestones that very few media brands ever reach.
Yeah.
And I can safely say to you right now that, like, say, for instance, with Pokemon Go, even today, there are people who will go out and play in the real world. You will run into, even today, still playing, raiding in groups, and rare hunting, and all sorts of other things. Yeah, on Pokemon Go. And so every time a good Pokemon product comes out in the entertainment category, it gets eaten up, and it's going to keep happening because that has gone multi-generational now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just kids. It's in every age group now. You got grannies in old folks' homes playing Pokemon Go.
So
And
basically,
you got young kids watching the films, and you got grown-ass adults collecting the cards and doing channels on YouTube about it.
so Pokemon is in theory replacing what Star Wars used to be.
Well, I won't put Star Wars down in a certain sense that way.
Well,
Star Wars delved into a lot of things Pokemon is just not capable of delving into.
that is true, but in terms of the fan base, the young, the old, Pokemon not alienating any of the fans and not pissing off all of them, like Disney, Star Wars, and Lucasfilm. Star Wars used to be what Pokemon is seemingly being right now. Is basically all I meant by that. And I did mean
let
it.
me just say one thing, bro.
Yeah.
I am absolutely in favor of gatekeeping in the category of Pokemon. Gatekeeping needs to occur. This is the one brand that must never be destroyed, if you ask me.
Yeah. But then again,
Pokemon is destroyed by the people who have destroyed Star Trek and Star Wars and all the other brands. But then there's nothing left.
But then again, I used to feel that way about Star Wars too, and look where we ended up.
Sure, but it got billion-dollar box office popular.
Yeah.
And anytime that happens, it draws that many eyeballs. You're going to have people trying to wedge their way into it.
Speaking of,
Pokemon still hasn't reached the billion-dollar box office level.
Speaking of things that aren't what they used to be, E3.
Yeah.
E3 2021, the in-person event has been canceled. What a surprise. But apparently they'll be still doing an all-digital event this year. Apparently.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. E3 is going to be interesting.
We'll see, because I don't expect Microsoft to do anything. I don't expect Sony or Nintendo to do anything for it. So what's left? EA? Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, and the event itself is going to be awkward at best.
And then even then, EA's been doing their own thing like the day before anyway. So what's left? Activision? Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Square Enix? Yawn.
Yeah, I mean, the last time anybody gave a damn about Squeenix, it was like fucking mid-2000s.
The last time I paid attention to anything that they announced was when it was Avengers, and look how that turned out.
Sure, what a faceplant.
Just like Anthem. Speaking of face planting, but seemingly starting to rise from the ashes, Halo Infinite apparently has gotten an update recently. Apparently, they re-released the trailer for it, and it's actually looking like a end of the gen to next gen version of Halo now. And it has a rumored release of this fall.
Lots of people have been waiting with bated breath for Halo Infinite.
Yeah, and I'm borderline one of them. But after what I saw from the trailer, this is actually now on one of my anticipated. It's now on my anticipated games list for the rest of this year. So, along the lines of MLB The Show, and but number one is probably that Pokemon game now. But then again, that's for next year anyway. So.
Sure, yeah, it's not even a 2021 title, yeah.
Yeah, but still, it's number one for the next 2 years, so. But
Yeah.
anything to add about Halo Infinite? Have you seen the new trailer for it?
I've seen a lot about it actually. I think it could be a big success if they do it right as far as the release goes.
Yeah. Well, first of all,
There's
it
no
needs
shortage
to
of people
be.
waiting for it.
First of all, it needs to be a big success, considering how Halo 5 went.
Yeah.
And how much it landed like a thud with its story and whatnot. Even though people say that the multiplayer is the best of, like, one of the best integrations of Halo's multiplayer was in 5. I don't give a shit about the multiplayer. I play it for the campaign.
Yeah.
Just just like with Call of Duty for me. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Anything else to add about
But yeah,
Halo Infinite?
If I were like a massive Halo fan,
Yeah.
which I'm admittedly not, I
Yeah.
would be very stoked about any talk of Infinite's release.
Well, we'll see what happens.
So, I mean, because it would be like a dream come true game, honestly.
They if the rumored release window is true, they have till fall to get a release date out there.
It'd be like, going back to Pokemon for 5 seconds,
Yeah.
it'd be like if they announced another Pokemon Stadium game.
Yeah.
It'd be like that.
Well, we weren't speaking of questionable things, because I don't think Halo Infinite is questionable at this point in time, but I've been around before. But Twitch apparently, recently they started a new campaign. Have you heard of this?
Yeah, you mean their tweet that went sideways?
Yeah, apparently they were trying to change the term women, WOMAN, to woman, WOMXN. And then they renounced it the same day because they got ratioed almost as hard as Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's because they
No,
were trying for National Women's History Month, they were trying to virtue signal massive third-wave radical feminist virtue.
Actually,
And what they did in the process was they ran afoul of the trans people.
I should actually correct myself. They actually did get ratioed harder than Kathleen Kennedy, the president of Lucasfilm, because even the SJWs and the leftists were even outraged at this at Twitch. When you piss off the woke mob, you've gone too far, apparently.
Yes, the great irony of what should I say? The great irony of leftist politics is that the firing squad is always circular,
and if there's no one in the center, they're just gonna be shooting each other.
It's kind of funny to me because women used to be one of the foundational minority groups of the hard left. Now they're not even a minority group in the eyes of the left.
Yeah.
At all. They've intersectionalized it down to much more important to them and much smaller groups. To where they'll run the whole of womandom over with the butts in favor of the trans guys. You know?
Yep.
Which is what this was.
Uh-huh.
Because Twitch was trying to say, yay, third wave feminism, we're feminists, you know? And the trans community on Twitter was like, what'd you just say?
Yeah, Twitch is as feminist as the deer chick is a actual deer.
Yeah, so in their efforts to stupidly waste time courting the hardcore, radical feminist types, which are like, 10% of females,
Yeah.
they decided to run afoul of the, I guess would be less than 1% that are trans males, and their supporting group, which is a lot more than 1%, but you get my point.
Yeah. So.
And really fuck themselves real good with the people they've been trying to court. I mean, it's like putting out a trap for or putting out a pieces of cheese for a mouse, and a mouse comes along, but then right behind the mouse is a fucking lion.
Yeah, and the
They
only.
got more than they bargained for, is what I'm saying.
So with that, the final topic I got here is on paper not really gaming related, but in a number of ways it really could be. And that being on the 9th of this month is Disney's investors call meeting. And the reason I bring it up is for many reasons. Gaming related, well, there's Lucasfilm Games has a connection to this. But the real reason I bring it up is because of the obvious with Star Wars and everything that has happened under Kathleen Kennedy's watch and under Disney's ownership of Star Wars.
Yep.
When you have their Star Wars channel getting ratioed into fucking oblivion, and the comments you basically get are comments like the quote that Gina had in the Ben Shapiro interview of, "Don't ruin my life with lies when your life can be ruined with the truth." And people just spamming that in every video of every comment for every video on their channel. And then there's comments.
That ratio was pretty strong. That was at more than 10 to 1.
Yeah, and that's across the board on every video that comes out since Gina got fired at this point. And then there's sprinkled in there comments like mine from people like what I said was, "You fired Gina and now my wallet is closed to you." And that got like 57 likes or something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I think the 9th is a Monday, right?
I think so.
So, yeah, so Monday is going to be interesting then.
Yeah.
And also with that, apparently, according to reports, Bob Chapek, Kathleen Kennedy's boss over at Disney, apparently is so pissed with her from what I'm hearing from like Mike Zero and Doomcock and others, that if she doesn't make a statement about what happened with Gina Carano, that she's likely to get let go. It's too fucking late, Disney. Anyway.
Yeah, well, they gotta do more than just that. I mean, that's like for starters.
Yeah. And I've been watching.
If they give a single fuck about the future of their brand, that is the first thing they have to do is fire her ass.
Yeah.
And then they have to keep going.
I've been watching a number of.
It's not just one person.
Yeah, I've been watching a number of podcasts like on Echo Base Network when they had a bunch of people on there talking about like this whole situation and whatnot, and a lot of them were talking about, we want to support what Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are doing with the cinematic universe, but we don't want to support what the rest of Star Wars, like Kathleen Kennedy stuff. Well, how do you do that? How do you get that point across with still being subscribed to Disney Plus? That's voting with your wallet in support of everything then.
Yeah, it's like I said on our rant video. Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have to like jump ship if they care about their own careers at this point.
At this point, there's only one way, and I'm probably going to be in a minority. Who the hell knows at this point? But my point of view of to save Star Wars is this: Disney is going to have to get nuked so hard from the fan base that they wind up losing so much money on Star Wars and in general that they're forced to just sell things to try to make ends meet. And I think you know where I'm going with it, and yes, I am going there. To get Disney to sell Star Wars to someone who knows what the fuck it is. So,
Yeah.
so with
Yeah,
that,
or at least somebody, I mean, preferably knows what it is, but preferably doesn't want to use it as a fucking political tool to try and put forward propaganda, which is all they do anymore.
so with that
Which
said,
is all Disney does anymore.
so with that said, there's the
These people will
obvious.
make a fucking kids movie, and they'll make it overtly political. Does anyone know why they do that? Anybody? Anybody at all?
To destroy it, that's the only thing I can think of.
I mean, they're either stupid, which is a very strong possibility, or
Well,
they literally missed the fucking point.
if you don't think that Disney and Lucasfilm are stupid by now, then you never will.
No, they are, but
Yeah.
I'm saying, if you're gonna make a kids film, the whole point of original Disney movies were to be an alternate to reality, not a fucking reminder of reality, not a, hey, you remember reality that you went into the theater to get away from? Ah, it's back. You know?
And all of this also takes me back to what I said at the opening, talking about or briefly bringing up the Republic Commando remake, and I did have a note that I didn't mention at the time in the script for the show that I have a bad feeling about this with them with them trying to re-release and remaster whatever that epically good old game.
Yeah, I definitely don't trust any new products from them whatsoever.
Yeah. So I'm not touching it even if it's only $15, because like I showed in the video that I did talking about this, I held up on camera my physical copy of it for the original Xbox. I still have it physically, folks.
I mean, it's like this. Trusting Disney or Lucasfilm at this point to produce good Star Wars content that doesn't tell the fans to go fuck themselves is like walking up to a bottled water display where there's dead bodies laying strewn all around it and half-empty bottles all over the place, and you decide to take one of the bottles anyway, crack it open, and chug half the bottle, and then you die too. Like, that's how dumb you'd have to be to not see that you should stop consuming this product right now.
Yeah, so with that said...
It hates you.
So with that said, I'm going to say this in an upcoming video that I'm going to be doing on my channel about Disney Plus and Star Wars coming up here in the next couple days, yeah, I'm going to be saying this next statement in that too. The time has obviously come and gone, and Order 66 needs to be done on Star Wars at this point. It needs to be out of Disney's fucking hands at this point. And yes, that does mean John and Dave, therefore, their projects getting cast away by the wayside. Because the soul of Star Wars needs to be saved, if it's even salvageable at this point. And the only way to do that in the long run without like a temporary band-aid on it, which just firing Kathleen Kennedy would just be a band-aid like on all 4 of your limbs getting cut off. You're putting a band-aid on one of them. Well, the other ones are still bleeding though, because it's Disney.
Yeah, they need the biggest corporate overhaul I've ever even seen. They need to fire 1,000 employees,
Hmm.
at least, high-ranking employees.
To the point where I don't even think Bob Chapek is a good leader for Disney either.
I mean, they need to fire every writer, for starters.
You need to scrap Lucasfilm outside of probably those who were there with George, who are still there, who've been silent the whole time, and Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni.
Yeah. No, I mean, and like I said, if those two continue to cling to the ship, they're going to end up being casualties. And we really don't want to see that because they're good men. They care about Star Wars. They genuinely try to make fandom catering content.
Yeah.
But they're getting taken down with the damn ship.
Yeah, they are.
And it's a shame. They should really take a look at their future and see it's not so bright.
There was a time where I contemplated trying to make a Star Wars only channel for YouTube. At this point, I'm so very glad that I didn't.
Yeah.
Because at this point, I would have abandoned it completely at this point.
Well, imagine the people who make movie review channels, right?
Well, there's Odin. Well, he used to be called Odin's Movie Blog. Now he's Odin's Reviews or something like that.
Yep.
Or OMB Reviews or something like that. But it is what it is. So we're getting close to 50 minutes. So let's get to the outgoing stuff here.
Yep.
So with that being said, what have you been playing lately?
Well, I've just been trying to keep up with the events and tasks they've been throwing at us in Pokemon Go with the challenge event and the other event and the specific researches and whatnot. And I, been playing some old Xbox, of course, but nothing new, I guess.
Like what game have you been playing on the 360?
Well, I was playing Skyrim.
What a surprise!
What a surprise!
I was actually just playing that recently on Steam just a couple days ago.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm playing it on Steam is because I have the PC mod. So.
What I've been doing lately is making videos for my own channel now.
Yeah, I've been watching all of them.
Yeah.
The last one has gotten, or was it the last one, or the one featuring Biden got like about 100 views, I think.
It's over. It's at near 130 last time I looked.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Considering your channel is like technically only like less than a month old.
Well, no, my channel's pretty old. It's actually 4 years old. It's just that the content isn't more than about a month old.
Well, I think it should, like, the birth of one's channel should be from the moment your first video goes up. That's how I see it.
Well, one good goal I'm keeping up here is that I have more views on my vids than I have subs, which is hard to do.
Yeah, on this channel, most of the time I get more times than not less views than subs, and then once in a while I get the same views as subs. I don't recall anything on this channel that's gotten more views than subs yet. Now, on the gaming channel, It's even harder to get the views of subs that I have over there. That's like 240. But
Yeah.
a few things over there have exceeded that. Like the video about me getting copyright struck by Sony,
Yeah, the whole Miles Morales incident got you a lot of views, yeah.
and it got like those 200 subs along with it.
Uh-huh.
But it is what it is. Hopefully, at some point, I can find something that gets something like to that kind of attention here. But other than that, next Wednesday, because I don't have the energy, because I'm going to be going back to bed soon after I watch like Midnight's Edge's thing about Lucasfilm here when that starts at 11:05 here. But after that, I'm gonna be going back to bed. But next Wednesday, I'm gonna be playing Final Fantasy VII next Wednesday for the first in the PlayStation Plus Wednesday streams. I don't know if I'm.
I was gonna say, bro.
Yeah.
One thing I am working on is a intro for the beginning of all of my videos.
Well, I look forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
So with that being said, yeah, Final Fantasy VII next Wednesday, which will be done hopefully if I have the energy before we do this in the morning next Wednesday. But if not, then it will be after this next Wednesday. And like I was getting at, I don't know about doing any games with gold games this month, considering that all of them are shit. So Free to Play Friday might be missing this month as far as I'm concerned, and probably rightly so. But I lean towards only doing one of the PlayStation games. What's that?
I should mention also that I'm going to be moving in the third week of March.
Okay.
So I'm not probably going to be able to do any video with you. It's going to be right smack in the middle of my move. So.
Okay, so then the third week in March, so...
Between the 17th and the 22nd.
Alright.
Yeah, I'm just going to be swamped with,
Got it.
everything else to figure out.
So the week of the 17th, we won't be doing this. We'll be taking that week off then.
Yeah, well, at least me.
Well, you, and generally, if I'm just going to be doing topics, I do have the series on the channel called the Drudat Games News. So I just do the stuff individually at that point then.
Uh-huh.
And then you can just leave your feedback in the comments like it is customary for stuff like that. So with that being said, that's what's coming up soon here. I will be doing another thing with Cyberpunk this weekend on Twitch and bringing you over to the gaming channel. And that's all I currently have planned at this point in time. With that being said, thank you for tuning in, everyone. Let's get out of here because it's like 53, 54 minutes now. Thank you for joining me, Desert Nord.
Yep.
Thank you to you for tuning in. Hit the like, subscribe on your way out if you haven't already, and do me one favor. Only do this and nothing else with Disney and Lucasfilm. Go to their YouTube channels and hit the dislike and tell them why you're pissed at them. But be respectful, don't curse and swear at them because it's not going to help the cause. Because if you go into their comments telling them to fuck off, you're not getting the point across of that they have made this bed themselves and now they gotta sleep in it.
Yeah, don't troll. Just make fair points and hold them accountable for their decisions.
Yeah. Tell them why you're doing what you're doing. Be honest with them. Be with them what they refuse to be to us. With that being said, may the Force be with us, and not Disney and Lucasfilm. And may you guys have a fantastic day. And if you are playing Bravely Default 2 like I'm going to be doing soon, and trying to get a review written for that, for Is It Worth It? Enjoy that game like I intend to be, and see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.